Hello guys. Okay, so in this video I'm going to teach you exactly how you can sustain your fat loss progress for life. Now if you watched my previous video, you'll basically know that last year I dropped 8 kg and I kept off for pretty much the entire year until I went back into a muscle growth phase, right? And I know that most of you probably go into a fat loss phase and after summer you gain back unwanted fat, or after the diet you kind of go back into old habits and it isn't something that you're able to sustain, and it's frustrating, it's annoying. Now I'm going to teach you how you can get yourself into a calorie deficit without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling you have to completely rewrite the story and rewrite your entire life and your approach and your routines, and actually how it can feel super seamless. Okay, now I have got a proven method that works. Again, this is something that I take all of my clients through, and I'm going to run you through exactly why I've done it, how I do it. Now, essentially, here's my story. Whenever I used to go into a fat loss phase, after a couple months, I would gain back unwanted fat. Now, the reason I do this is I would go into a glorified building phase where after the diet's like, oh, let's just increase food, let's train a bit harder in the gym. And it just turned into an unintentional building phase for the sake of it. Okay, so what tends to happen is you've put in the hard work, you've restricted your calories, you've gone to the gym, you've done the cardio, you're seeing progress. However, once you've lost the weight, I want you to ask yourself, how long does it actually last? How long does that result last? Does it last 2 weeks, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months? How long does it last? Because we should not always be gaining back unwanted fat, okay? It shouldn't be happening. And the reason that so many people go through this is because they follow fad diets, because they haven't created a system, because they haven't worked through different phases, okay? So just kind of ask yourself, how long until things start to go backwards? Maybe sustaining progress right now to you feels too good to be true, and that's why you're self-sabotaging yourself into taking steps back. So here's my why. Okay, I was always that person, as I just said, who had gained back unwanted body fat. In 2023, I went through a fat loss phase and then I went to Vegas. And then after Vegas, I came back and guess what? I'd gained back all the fat. Well, not all of the fat, but I'd gained back a fair amount. Yes, this was somewhat bloating from the holiday. You know, you're in America, you're eating different foods, but it was also unwanted body fat. Because what I'd done was, yes, sustainable, I followed a method, but I didn't keep going with what I needed to keep doing, okay? Now, the reason so many people gain back unwanted body fat, the reason so many people go through a fat loss phase that is not sustainable in the long term, is because they've learned nothing about longevity. Didn't learn what to do during the busiest times of their year. You know, so many people go into a fat loss phase where it's like, do you know what? I've got no social plans, let's go, let's smash this. Then after that phase, when the social plans come in, it's like, brilliant, I don't actually know how to manage this, how to handle this, so do you know what, fuck it, I'll just enjoy it and I'll come back to fitness at another point. You need to learn how to make it seamless. You need to learn how to actually manage your fitness even during the busiest times of your life, busy with work, busy with social occasions, busy with like weddings, whatever it may be. You have to learn about longevity. You have to learn about sustaining that as well. And that's where sustainability comes in, because fitness becomes realistic. It becomes something that fits into your life and it doesn't take over. So as I said here, I went through something very similar in 2023. I'm very relatable. I can resonate with your journey. But essentially this triggered me into creating a system. You know, I didn't want to have to keep going into fat loss, gaining fat, going into fat loss, gaining fat, or going into fat loss, doing a glorified building phase, then going to fat loss again. Like, it's exhausting. Your body should not always be going through calorie deficits. Like, it's not good for us, okay? Whether you're male or female, it's not good for our hormones. It's not healthy. So I personally believe, and I learned this last year, so in 2024, the biggest flex you can have in your fitness journey is the fact that you can drop fat and you can keep it off for life. That is a flex. Do you know how many people cannot do that? Cannot drop fat and keep it off? Like, if you can learn how to do this, you are a machine that nobody can wreck with, right? Because you know how to handle it, you know how to manage it. It's seamless, it's effortless. And when you look good, you feel good. When your health is in a good place, you have more energy. That's another reason why it's so important to sustain, not only for the aesthetics, but actually how you look, how you feel, how you show up as well. So here's how I make sure this does not happen for me and it does not happen to any of my clients. Again, I was triggered in 2023. Then if you watch my previous video, you'll know that last year I went into fat loss phase and I sustained it, right? So here's how. I have created my 3 phases of success. Essentially what this means is we are moving through different phases to actually learn how to drop fat and keep off for life. I pretty much relate this to learning how to drive a car. Okay, now essentially my phase one is learning the gears. This is basically routine and habit building. Okay, the same way when you learn to drive a car, you learn about the gears, you learn about the mirrors, you learn about the lights. That's essentially what phase one is. It's about actually learning what you need to fuel your body, looking into how your training sessions fit into your life, looking into your steps, your sleep. Once we've actually figured out what your routines look like, what your habits look like, we then go into phase two, which is getting from A to B. This is pretty much the transformation phase. This is where you have to change the data. This is where you have to lock in. You push a little bit further for a short period of time. Remember, fat loss is not a lifestyle. It is a phase. You cannot be in a fat loss phase forever. Like, you just can't. It's not possible. Well, it is, but it's just very restrictive and has very bad consequences. Once you've done the transformation phase, let's say it's 12 to 14 weeks long, right? Then we have freedom on the road. So this is pretty much learn how to drive the car, getting from one place to another. So your current reality to your dream reality and your higher self, and then actually learning how you get to be this person forever, how you do not take steps backwards, right? Now, my ethos within my coaching is you are going to learn everything you need to know so you have knowledge for a lifetime, results for the lifetime, and you never have to hire another coach again, which is why we go through these phases. It's not a simple case as, okay, join my coaching, go into calorie deficit, boom, 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 tick, 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 see you later, you're done. It's actually making sure that we're nurturing the process. It's actually making sure that you're moving through the process nicely as well. So just to give you a bit more context as to what each phase looks like, rather than writing it on the screen, I just thought I'd go through it with you. So again, the learning the gears phase is basically routine and habit building. This is, as I mentioned, really actually understanding the quality of your nutrition before we look into the quantity. So understanding why we need carbs, why we need protein, why we need dietary fats, understanding how we can fit these foods into your busy schedule, understanding what types of foods to buy from the supermarket, creating food lists, creating grocery lists, right? It's actually understanding nutrition. Before you think about, I need to eat less, less and less, let's figure out what your maintenance is. Let's learn how to fit social occasions into your maintenance. Let's learn how to track alcohol. Let's actually be accountable to a higher calorie goal, whether that's through tracking intake or meal photos. It's looking into, okay, let's get you consistent and confident in the gym. So rather than going, okay, 5 sessions per week and hammering it in, let's start with 3 sessions. Let's start with 2 sessions and go to 3 sessions. Let's get you consistent in the gym. Let's get you confident in the gym within your first 4 weeks, okay? Actually build the system to make it effortless to start showing up. Start actually building that discipline with yourself. It's also looking into your time management. How busy actually are you? What are your time wasters? What are your energy drainers? Let's actually look into your time together. We also just look into your sleep, your movement, and just making sure that everything fits in, right? It's like level 1. Let's just learn more about your life, see what's working, what's not working. Let's educate you. Now, the reason this is so important is so many people jump straight into the deficit. They jump straight into fad diets. They jump straight into cut out carbs, cut out alcohol. I'm not going to go on social occasions. I'm going to do 5 training sessions per week, and they go all in. But they do not learn the systems or the strategies. They have no knowledge, right? You have no idea how to manage a social occasion on the weekend. You don't know about the different types of approaches. In this phase, I teach my clients every single strategy they need to know about eating out. You know, every single success and strategy they need for that, whether it's a strict approach, a more relaxed approach. We gain a positive narrative around fitness and nutrition in this phase. This is where you actually have human connection. We talk about things. Because again, the biggest mistake people make is they jump straight in without learning, okay? Now, the reason this is so important, and some people are like, oh, that's so long, you know, I just want to drop the fat now. If you can sort out your routine, if you can learn what to do, you're going to see more progress in the first 4 weeks than you will in the next 12 weeks without learning these things. A key thing to remember is the long way is actually the short way. Doing the longer way and learning what you need to learn is actually going to make this, yes, maybe a couple weeks longer, but it means you're going to sustain it, which means you're never going to need to hire somebody else again. So once we have the routines in place, and this phase can be 2 weeks to 4 weeks long, we then go into the actual transformation phase. This is where we really look in and we look into, okay, how much body fat do we want to lose? Depending on that, we set a time-stamped goal. We know we're looking in for a short period of time, okay? So that could be 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks, depending on how much you want to lose. The transformation phase is where things do get difficult. You're slowly decreasing the amount you're eating and you're slowly increasing the amount you're moving. more steps, more cardio, more intense training sessions, slowly decreasing how much you're eating, compromising on eating out on the weekends, not being so much of a people pleaser, learning how to say no without it feeling like a negative restriction. It's knowing for a short period of time you have to lock in to delayed gratification, okay? It's actually learning how the hell you do that without feeling restricted. Once we've done that for, let's say, 12 to 14 weeks, if you want to lose around a stone, you're going to have to stay in that phase for a little bit longer. Once we've done that, and you're still enjoying your life, by the way, still going out, drinking alcohol, doing what you need to do, but you're making compromises because you can't do anything you want and drop fat. Like, there are going to have to be restrictions, and I'm not that coach that's going to lie to say, eat whatever you want. You can't eat whatever you want, but I'm going to teach you how you do it without feeling restricted. Once you've done that for around 12 to 14 weeks, this is the phase people do not do. Freedom on the road is basically the reverse diet to take you up to maintenance. Your calorie deficit are not your calories for the rest of your life. That is to drop fat. You then need to learn how to slowly increase your intake and slowly decrease your expenditure in order to get to maintenance. When you get to maintenance, you need to spend some time there. You need to come away from tracking every single day. You need to learn how to maybe go for a meal out and actually get a little bit more food without hitting the fuck it button. You need to make sure that the habits you have used for phase 1 and phase 2 are used in phase 3 and they do not feel restrictive. You get a bit more flexibility, a bit more leniency without taking steps backwards. Now, this looks different for everyone. Every single person looks so different. But again, the long way is often the short way, and you have to create a system to actually move through the journey, right? And it's actually the journey where you build confidence, where you build evidence that you can do this thing, rather than jumping straight in, crashing into the wall, so eating less and moving more, and the scale isn't moving because you don't know how to handle your weekends, you don't know how to manage alcohol as well, which is the exact reason I have built this. Now, as you saw on the last video, I obviously went through this exact journey. I lost 8 kg, I went on several holidays, and I never worried about my body again. That is because I went through the 3 phases of success. Routine and habit building, locking in for the transformation, learning how to actually maintain that as well. Going on these holidays and not worrying about food because I know about not only the quantity, but the quality. I know what to do when my fitness powers in there. I know what to do when I'm eating out. I know about the 1 plate rule. I know about how to eat until I'm satiated and not past the point of. But maybe you're looking at this like, but you're a coach. It's easy for you, right? Let me show you what we've done with my client. So this is my client, Chloe. She came to me 106 kg and we got down to 99 kg in 3 months. Within the 3 different phases, this is what we've done. Phase 1, we basically started off with meal photos. I taught Chloe about the quality of foods before we even touched quantity. So we've done meal photos, we went to the gym twice per week, we slowly increased cardio, we've got a routine in place with getting her steps in. She now goes for a morning walk every single morning with her little doggy Bonnie. And she now has that routine in place. So because we have the routine, we've kind of sorted out like where the big rocks are, where the pebbles are, where the sounds are in her weekly routine. That's in place. Phase 2, the actual transformation phase. So this is probably phase 1, to be completely honest, right? Phase 2, which is the transformation where body weight does come down because you've learned what to do, is where we actually looked into MyFitnessPal. She transitioned from meal photos into MyFitnessPal because it's efficient, okay? It's a way to actually understand if you are in a calorie deficit numerically. We also went to the gym, we pushed cardio, we kept up with the walking because she had the routine in place to make it feel a bit more seamless. Still hard work, but she got it done. And then she had freedom on the road, which was she could come away from tracking on MyFitnessPal and she could actually maintain this loss, okay? She can maintain this. Now, Chloe's actually going back into phase 2, which is getting from A to B, and I will be showing her journey at some point, but it's just to show you that the 3 phases work because you learn what to do and you learn how to actually sustain that as well, okay? So as you can see, you learn what to do, we get into the transformation, you learn how to maintain it as well, and this is where people go wrong. There's a diet after the diet, and this is why it's better to start sooner rather than later with any sort of transformation that you want, because you can't miss out on this phase and you can't miss out on this phase. The reason most people fail is they go straight into here with no clue what to do, okay? So I just thought I'd kind of run you through my proven method for how you can drop fat and keep it off. If you have any questions regarding this sort of method, drop me a